Hey, good afternoon, guys. I'm here in Houston, Texas. It's a beautiful day out, a little hot. It's 90 degrees, and I finished running 105 miles this week. I feel pretty good overall, and I'm actually here for a family friend's wedding. I just wanted to say, I wasn't expecting to run this many miles this week, but the 2 weeks before that, I did a lot less mileage than I normally do. So 2 weeks ago, I ran 67 miles. Then the week after that, which was last week, I was a little bit shaken up, a little injured because I actually landed on my hip playing basketball.
He did. That's a great play by Jordan Clarkson. That's all ball.
Yeah, really right on top of it.
He's on top of the ball.
Yeah, when you go with one hand, if he keeps two hands on it,
So I only ran 3 days that week, but I still finished the week with 54 miles. And then this week I was like, I'm going to go all in. And I just finished running 11 miles this morning in Houston. It wasn't super hot out when I ran this morning. I started my run around 8:30 and ended like right before 10. And I gotta say, Houston's actually really nice. I mean, I thought it was gonna be really hot, but it was like kind of humid. It was cloudy for the most part, and I felt pretty good. And so with that 11-mile run, that got me to 105 miles. And I didn't do a whole lot of speed this week, so I did a track session, 5x1200 on Tuesday, and then I did a lot of strides. So like I think 24 strides in total. And then I had a day where I did a long run, 17 miles, which I think was Wednesday, and I actually got a lot of hills involved in that. So I just wanted to say, like, the biggest thing, is I've only really been training for these marathons or half marathons and marathons for I think I can't even say it's been a year. And I went from doing like 30 to 40 miles a week, like maybe 5 months ago, and now I just finished a 100-mile week. And yeah, my legs are kind of sore, feel pretty tight, but I just kind of want to share with you like what's kind of worked for me. So the biggest thing is really sleep is the most important, and it's hard because I have not gotten as good sleep as I want to.
Marcus, the bird is all better. Marcus, he wants to talk to you. Marcus, you're gonna be the best lifeguard at the whole pool.
The last several days I've gone about 6.5, maybe 6 hours, 40 minutes. And, when it comes to sleep, there's two things. There's the amount of sleep that you get and then your sleep quality. So I can't really say one is more important than the other, but I do think, getting enough sleep is definitely, in my opinion, personally, I think the most important thing. Because when you don't get enough sleep, you're just not going to feel good, obviously. And I moved into this new apartment, and I've had a lot of issues with it, so that definitely has affected my sleep, your sleep environment. There's lots of sleep hygiene things you could do. So I've been overall, I feel like my sleep hygiene is pretty good. I usually kind of wind down, I try to go to sleep at the same time. It's kind of tough, but usually around 11. And then a lot of times I've just been having terrible insomnia where I just, will kind of wake up in the middle of the night. So say I go to sleep at 11, I might wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, and then when it was really bad, I would struggle to fall back asleep, just have a lot of anxious thoughts, worrying thoughts. And it's definitely frustrating because sleep is kind of the number one thing when it comes to recovery. If you get good sleep, I would say, people talk about 8, 9, 10 hours. I really don't think you need 10 hours of sleep. That honestly sounds kind of terrible because that means that you're literally spending 10 hours in your bed and then you only have 14 hours throughout the day. As far as 8 to 9, everyone has... I thought for someone training at a high level that, it could help to have that 8 to 9 hours. But really, I feel like just getting at least 7 hours of good quality sleep is the best thing you could do when it comes to recovery. Is if you get at least 7 hours of good quality sleep where you're not really waking up in the middle of the night, you're going to feel so much better. And so I will say there were so many nights where I would have maybe there was a couple nights where I had only 3 hours of sleep, felt terrible. I still was able to push through and get my running in. And then, it started to get a little bit better this last week. So, about 6.5. And I really want to hit 7 hours. But I think the key for me is just just having a lot of anxiety, having a lot of negative thoughts throughout the day, just frustrations, stressors of life, these things come up. And, by actually like worrying less about sleep, so not obsessing about it, saying I need to get this many hours of sleep, that's actually going to make you feel more free, and it's going to help you get better sleep, and it's going to help you feel better throughout the day. So it's like, even though I didn't get the best sleep, as much as I wanted to in these last couple days, this last week, I still finished with a pretty strong 105-mile week. I didn't do a whole lot of speed, but since it's my first like really big running week, running 100 plus miles, I'm actually okay with that. And then, I still do tons of other recovery stuff. I try to foam roll maybe 1 or 2 times a day. I try to do static stretching, which I can get more into that, like yoga poses and stuff. And then like nutrition, that's like the number one thing when it comes to me. I try to just eat as clean as possible, eat lots of ground beef, plenty of carbs, so overnight oats, quinoa. I eat a lot of dairy. Dairy is really good.
This morning I drove 5 hours to pick up raw milk. I went through the countryside, a nice scenic route. Arrived at the milk spot, picked up some milk, say hi and thank you to the cows. First sip, tastes amazing. Now time to head home. Great success.
All that good stuff. Lots of fruits, vegetables, the whole shebang. And I can get more into nutrition, but really for me it's okay if you eat out once in a while. But to me, I'm just so locked in. And on top of that, I don't even feel the need to really eat out. Because the thing is, I just feel like fresh food just tastes better. And if you put good food into your body, avoiding those seed oils, avoiding all that crap, you're just going to feel 100 times better. And so when it comes to nutrition, even though I'm not getting the best sleep, I'd say just by being so locked in on the nutrition and eating healthy food, that's really helped with my performance. The other thing is you can do some things like cold showers. Actually, I used to hate like cold showers and stuff, but they feel really refreshing. Even like swimming some laps is great. Going for a bike ride during a rest day. I really honestly swimming is excellent, because I'm not a very good swimmer, but even just doing like 20 minutes of just swimming laps, even if you don't have the best stroke, even if I suck at swimming, trust me. It's actually like pretty refreshing, and your legs will feel better, and it's, even more cardio too. So it's definitely good to get in the pool. I would say really that's about it for me. So I feel happy with this week. It's cool being able to go to this wedding. Cool, being able to run in Houston, because the thing is, I was thinking Iowa winters are pretty brutal. I've heard it can get to negative 60. Colder weather generally is better for running. But I honestly prefer the heat, because I've ran pretty well in the heat. Drinking all that salt and sodium electrolytes. And I will say, I just can't stand the cold. I mean, the wind, all that stuff, the snow, it sucks. It's not fun. So I want to see if there's a way maybe I could even come out to Houston during the winter time, because, I'm sure Houston can get pretty hot, but during the winter, it's probably a great place to run. So that's really all I got. And, just hoping to enjoy this time. Just grateful to God just to be here. And that's really all I got. I might stop by Smoothie King, because I've kind of been craving a smoothie, but that's all I got to say. So, I hope you guys could take this in. I hope it can inspire you to just keep running miles, even when, things feel like they're not going your way, even when your job is getting stressful, when life gets in the way, just don't give up on your dreams, and that's all I got. So peace out. Thank you.